Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sophie and today I am bringing you another video in my brand design series where I'm taking you behind the scenes of doing branding for a real client. So I'm gonna link the previous video for this in the description box below in case you were not able to catch part one. This is part two. So we are back and chatting about Grafton Peek, which is the client that's being featured in this brand design process. And it's a really unique process because, just as a review, we're actually doing two brands within this project. So there's the Grafton Peek umbrella, and then the mercantile and the social hall underneath. So in this series, I'm just kind of taking you behind the scenes one step at a time of how I actually create brand design for a real life client. So I'm showing you all the stuff, all the things that I do, my whole process from start to finish. I actually am filming this intro like quite a bit later than when this original video was filmed. When I first started this project, this was back in October of 2023, and I just like haven't really gotten the chance to share it yet and like go back and edit all the video and start piecing things together. And it's funny because as I'm editing things, I'm realizing like, oh, I don't have an intro for this video or like an outro for this video, or I'm like missing footage about this. So I am popping in now in January of 2024 to just kind of tell the story of what is happening behind the scenes and giving you guys a look at all of the things that I was doing back in October. So it's really funny because sometimes you'll catch video where you can see out the window and there's like green leaves on the trees, and like now I'm looking outside and there's snow everywhere. Bear with me, I'm kind of just piecing this whole story together for you, but today I'm going to be sharing with you part two. And on part two, I'm going to be showing you where I'm actually starting to put the pieces together of the brand. So doing a little illustration on Procreate, doing some stuff on Adobe Illustrator, and just really getting into the details and laying the foundation for a really beautiful final product for Grafton Peek. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into it. They do have such a tight deadline, I am actually not going to just like freehand this like I've done with other buildings. Buildings are one of those things, it's not difficult to freehand them because a lot of it is straight lines and arches and windows. But with this, I am just gonna go ahead and draw this with a trace so that I can just speed up the process. One thing that the client did note to me is that the awning that's featured in this is not going to be on the building in the future. I am going to be tracing this with the dry ink brush on Procreate because that has like the perfect amount of texture that I'm looking for, and I'm going to use a black. I'm just going to use straight up black. I'm going to go ahead and turn my drawing guide on so that I can then use the drawing assist feature and get some really straight crisp lines. I don't want this to be so perfect that it loses all personality, but I know that they want their branding to be clean. And so I don't want this to look like a super busy and messy sketch. Like I want it to be as clean as possible, but still maintaining some characters. That like hand-drawn custom look is what I'm really going for here as a brand designer. Like that is just kind of the look that I deliver in many different ways for many different clients across various industries. like to wrap up with work for the day, but I'm kind of on a roll here, and so like when it comes to uber creative projects like this, it's best to strike while the iron is hot, and if you're inspired, you just kind of have to keep going, because sometimes it's like you never know when that inspiration will strike again, or if it will strike again in the exact same way that it is now. I'm actually going to turn this illustration into a vector by exporting this drawing as a TIFF with no background, so it's transparent, and I'm going to export this to my Mac. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this into Adobe Illustrator. So I just dragged and dropped the artwork in. Now I'm going to go over to Image Trace, and I have a preset for how I like to do all the settings for the tracing on here. But basically I make sure that the view is on tracing result. The mode I put on, actually I'm going to change this to my line drawings transparent. Tracing result, black and white. My threshold is currently set to 228. Under advanced settings, my paths are set to 100%, corners are at 100%, noise is at 1. And then I have this so that it has create fills and strokes both checked, and ignore color with the color white is turned on here as well. So this definitely isn't like perfect, but it's not supposed to be. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to make sure you hit expand, and now I can move this around and I can make it bigger or smaller, and it won't get pixelated even though it was originally a Procreate drawing, and I can change the color as well and do whatever I want. So that is kind of like the base here of what I want for my building illustration. I did want to show you guys as a reminder, this is the sketch that we started with, where I just kind of started to ideate some concepts for their logo suite. And a logo suite typically makes up a primary logo, a secondary logo, often a monogram of sorts, and a submark. And these are just all different variations of your logo that all together are called a logo suite. So I just was kind of putting together a lot of different ideas, and now it's time to start putting this on Adobe Illustrator. And with the fonts that I've selected, the colors that I'm looking at, just time to start bringing these things to life. So I just have to show you guys that this is where the magic is really starting to happen here. It just feels like it all came together so quickly. It's like once you start getting a few parts together, things really start to flow. I'm just still trying to figure out how I'm gonna make this work with the mercantile. I don't necessarily know that that's like the font I'm gonna use, but just trying to figure out a way to make this flow. But I'm really excited about how this is looking right now. Like, this is beyond what I was hoping for so far. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It's really fun to look back on the progress that I made with this brand design project. We're actually in the middle of finalizing their website right now. So this was back in October of 2023, like I said, when we were creating their brand design, and now present day we're wrapping up their website. So if you guys want to see what their branding is looking like implemented on their website once we get through this whole process, let me know in the comments below if that's something you'd be interested in seeing a look at, and I'd be happy to share. But it's just so cool to see this process coming together. It's truly been one of my favorite brand design projects I've ever done, and so it just had a lot of unique challenges that not all of my other projects have, and I've really enjoyed just being able to take on something a little bit different that requires thinking outside the box a little bit. So I really appreciate you guys joining me for this series. I will be sharing part 3 on my YouTube video very soon. I upload weekly, twice a week. Most of the time I try to do twice a week. Sometimes I don't though, but I try to upload on Mondays and Wednesdays. So if you're not subscribed, make sure that you go ahead and click the subscribe button so that you don't miss the next video in this series. If you have any questions about my brand design process, as always, please leave them down in the comments below and I will get back to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye friends.